Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today, you can already tell by the title, I'm going to be ranking my top 10 favorite video games. This is just general, like it doesn't have to be on a console, it can be even on like a virtual reality website or a game that you used to play. I'm just going to kind of list off 10, both from like my childhood, just overall favorite 10 video games. Eventually I do want to maybe do like an in-depth thing where like I go back and I look at like a certain console or a certain kind of game or just something like that. But for now, I'm just gonna do this one. Sorry for the lack of vlogs also on the channel. I haven't been able to get out much because I've been busy with school, with my schedule and everything, but I promise vlogs are gonna be coming probably this week sometime, as soon as I can get a chance to get out. So with that said, click the like button if you're new here, subscribe down below if you want to see more videos like this, and without further ado, here are my top 10 favorite video games. And coming in at last place is a game on the GameCube called Nicktoons Unite. They made a lot of these games, especially I think they even like went on to like the Wii and stuff with these games. But the first one that they had on the GameCube, I think it was SpongeBob, Danny, Phantom, Timmy Turner, and Jimmy Neutron. That was it. I know they made ones later on with like Invader Zim and stuff like that, but the first one where they just battled each of their arch nemesis like Plankton and Crocker and just all those kind of villains and like Nickelodeon's past and stuff. It was a really fun game because it was like the first of its kind and it was very like mysterious, and it was like, as a kid, I played the game all the time and I used to play it like trying to beat it in one go, which didn't really work out too well, but it was okay. But I always enjoyed playing it. We even with like friends, we used to play like multiplayer, and it was just fun to see like all the, you know, the Nicktoons coming together, because I don't think they really ever did that in any of the shows or anything, so that's why it comes in as my 10th favorite video game. And coming in as my 9th favorite video game, it's not really too much of like a big kind of game, but I'm gonna have to give it to Club Penguin. As a kid, I used to play this all the time with friends online. In fact, each day after school, I'd probably hop onto this game. I'd play it with friends. If you had a membership, which I had a membership, you used to have like igloo parties and customizing your penguin. It was so much fun. I'm playing the games on the island. And then it got really intense when like holidays and stuff would come around, and they would have like special events for the holidays. It was probably like my favorite kind of online like computer game. Because I didn't really play a lot of PC when I was a kid, but that was one game that I definitely stuck with, and definitely stuck with me. And I know that a lot of other people have played it, but that's why it comes in as my 9th favorite video game. And coming in as my 8th favorite video game, I have Uncharted 4. I'm actually on the gaming channel right now. The link's always in the description for the gaming channel, by the way. I'm playing Uncharted 2 right now, but I am kind of leading myself up to playing Uncharted 4. It's one of my favorite games that I've ever played. It was the first game that I played on PlayStation 4, and I absolutely loved it. It took Uncharted because each Uncharted kind of had a theme. Like the first one was like a jungle, second one was like mountains and like snow, third one was like desert and heat. The fourth one was just kind of its own game. It was just kind of like doing its own thing, trying to tell its own story, and I really appreciated that, because you don't need to have like a kind of theme going with the game to make it good. You just need to have like good storytelling, and that's exactly what they did. They took like, you know, I think they have them with like Elena in that game. It's just a really great storytelling game. I would love it if they made an Uncharted 5, not like The Lost Legacy, like with one, maybe with like Nathan Drake's daughter or something like that, but I mean, it's fine if they don't, but that game was really well done, and even like all the game mechanics and stuff, like the villain, like Rafe, and just everything that they did in that game was very well done. So that's why it comes in as my 8th favorite video game. And coming in as my 7th favorite video game, I have Wii Sports Resort. I contemplated putting either Wii Sports or Wii Sports Resort. I didn't really know. Then I realized there's so much more that comes with Wii Sports Resort, and I was willing to lose baseball and boxing. I know those are two of like the best games that was on Wii Sports, but in Wii Sports Resort you had like wakeboarding and just all that kind of stuff. I always remember like getting a bunch of family together at like Christmas time. We would all go down to like the living room. We would play Wii Sports Resort, and it was just so much fun because it was like there was like archery. Archery was one of the really fun ones. Wakeboarding, basketball was really fun. And then like they had like the dog fights where you could like fly over the island and stuff. That was so much fun. And I just really enjoyed playing it with friends a lot. Like if you had like a friend that was really good at table tennis, then you definitely had like a lot of fun with that game. What else did they have? They had like the sword fight where you had, like the time, like with the, you'd have to cut it a certain way. That was a lot of fun. I just remember that game being a big part of my childhood, so that's probably why I put it on here. Maybe it's a little biased, but I definitely want to play it over on the gaming channel sometime. I just don't know when I want to do that. So that's probably why it comes in as my 7th favorite video game. And coming in as my 6th favorite video game, I have Super Mario Galaxy, the first one. I remember when I first got a Wii, this game was probably, I think, the first game I played besides Wii Sports, which is, came with every Wii. But I got the Wii for Christmas, and then I opened this game with it. And I was like, I was no more than 12. I was like 9 or 10, something like that. And all I remember is raging really bad at this game, but having a lot of fun. The second one is still a good game, but not nearly as good. And the reason, I think, is because they never had like the observatory. The whole ship idea didn't really do it for me. But what they did in the first one by like having the stars go into that like, base, and then it would like at the end turn into like a small rocket, it was awesome. And it was just a really cool, like the music in the game was really good too, and like a lot of the planet ideas that they did. I remember one of them was like I think it was called Water Bowl Galaxy, and it was like you would like dive into the water, and then it was like a beach, and it was really cool because like these weren't part of land; they were just floating. And obviously, like that wouldn't happen in real life, but that was just something really cool as like a kid to see that. It was awesome. So that's probably why Super Mario Galaxy comes in as my 6th favorite video game. And coming in as my 5th favorite video game is a game I still play to this day, Rocket League. I started playing Rocket League right when it came out. I remember the idea of like, I always liked a lot of like soccer games like Mario Strikers and stuff like that. I was never really into FIFA, but when they came out with a game with like cars, I was like, that looks interesting. Started playing it, loved it. I did let go of it for a couple of years because I just got into a lot of other games. This was usually around the time that like PS4 and Xbox One came out and everything. There's a lot of new solo games that came out, so I started playing a lot of those. But I never stopped ever like wanting to play. Because I know Rocket League came out like right when the new consoles were coming out, so I played it like when I first got the console. But then I would play a lot of other games. But just more recently, probably like about a year ago, I started getting back into it a lot more, and I've been loving it. It's one of my favorite games because it's not like a lot of games with like shooting and and there's nothing wrong with that, but this game is there's a lot of skill involved in trying to pull off a lot of good moves on like getting it into goal. And there's also a lot of fun modes like Rumble and Demolition and Hoops, and I definitely hope to see maybe even a sequel in the future, but I know that's probably just me optimistically thinking. We're not really going to get a Rocket League 2, it's just always going to be like constant updates, but I can always dream for a Rocket League 2. So that's why it comes in as my 5th favorite video game. And coming in as my 4th favorite video game is the only virtual reality game I have on this list. It's probably not what most people think. It's a game called Virtual Reality. And the reason I picked this game is, yes, there are games like Beat Saber and Super Hot, and those are all great games. But in terms of like what I left with after that game, the game Virtual Reality, in case you've never heard of it, it's a VR game. It's on the Quest. I think it's on even PSVR. So it's on most VR devices. But it's a game about like you put on these goggles and it's like this company trying to like give people their fantasy, I guess, of like what they want in life. And if you take the goggles off, they're like it's really creepy. And it's really cool because I love games that are like creepy, but not like horror games. Like the creepiness level of like being in a big factory in the future where they're like trying to overrun humans. I love that kind of stuff. And when I saw that in a VR game, I instantly fell in love. And it was only $15, and the game's really good. I definitely recommend checking it out. I eventually do want to do a playthrough on Limitless Games for VR, but I gotta see what else I want to do on that channel as well in terms of VR, but that's why it comes in as my 4th favorite video game. And real quick, right before I get into my top 3 video games, if you guys are enjoying this list, don't forget to leave your list down below, like, subscribe, all the usual stuff, so that I can see what your guys' list and we can compare them. Just remember, be respectful about it in the comments. My list isn't the right list, it's just my list. So I'd love to see all of your guys' favorite lists of video games. And with that said, I'm also selling new merch now, so if you guys want to check that out, it should be right about here. It's also in the link in the description for the store. And if you guys, I'm talking about video games, I don't know if you guys know this, I have mentioned it already a couple times in this video, but I do have a gaming channel. The link is always in the description. Currently I'm playing Uncharted 2 right now, but I have played other games in the past. I'm kind of working, I will be playing Marvel's Avengers when it comes out, so if you guys want to stay tuned for that, definitely check it out. And without further ado, let's get into our final 3. And coming in as my 3rd favorite video game, I'm going to give it to The Last of Us, the first one. I still love the second Last of Us, even though I know it gets a lot of hate for no reason. But the first Last of Us is still one of my favorite games of all time. It's one of the few video games that's actually made me cry. I remember playing that game for the first time. My friend had suggested it to me when it first came out for the PS3. And I played it, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I fell in love with the characters, obviously, that's what makes this game. But the story behind it, yes, it's a zombie game, and there's so many different zombie games out there, like The Walking Dead, there's so many of them. But this game focused more on what the humans are going through, rather than just putting zombies everywhere and using that as a plot device. And I really appreciated that, because they showed, how humans have become. If you've ever watched or played The Last of Us, you realize that a lot of the drama that goes on. Yes, there's parts with infected and stuff like that, but a lot of the stuff that happens is because of humans and what lows they've steeped down to. And I just really enjoy seeing that in a game like that. So that's probably why it comes in as my 3rd favorite video game. And as my runner-up, I have to give it to Animal Crossing New Leaf. I understand that New Horizons just came out, but it's a very good game. But it's not better than New Leaf, in my opinion. New Leaf had better music. It was just spaced more evenly. You had all the different shop upgrades. It made you want to stop in every day and play. I played Animal Crossing New Horizons on even my gaming channel for about maybe a month, and then I just kind of gave it up. Because it doesn't interest me. Quite honestly, it doesn't interest me, because I'm doing this stuff, and what am I doing it for? I'm not trying to upgrade anything, and the game just seems like a big competition. Everyone time travels now, and I really just don't like that. I wish people didn't time travel, because it made the game so much it was not that fun. But Animal Crossing New Leaf, it was an option that you could do that. But not a lot of people did it, because it was just, I don't know why they didn't do it. But Animal Crossing New Leaf was just a different kind of game. Being on the 3DS and everything, it definitely was a better experience being on mobile. And I know that the Switch is portable, but I don't want to take a giant, the thing is pretty big. It's not, nearly as convenient as the 3DS was or something like that. But that's why it comes in as my 2nd favorite video game. And as my favorite video game of all time, it's probably not what most people would expect. It is Portal 2. I remember playing this game for the first time on Xbox 360. I used to play a lot of different Xbox games, and I was into a lot of Call of Duty stuff, and that's what I stick to mostly. I rented the game, it's actually from an old subscription service. You guys probably know what I'm talking about, Gamefly. I used to have that when I was 13 or 14, and I used to rent games all the time. I rented this game one time just because it looked cool. I thought, looks cool. I rented it, and I immediately sent it back, and then I went out and bought it myself because the game is spectacular. If you guys know anything about me, if you guys have seen my other rankings before, I love any kind of sci-fi stuff and creepiness, and this game dials that up to 100. There's clearly something wrong. And I so badly want them to make a new one, because there's so much story that they can tell with this game. And especially like the gameplay too. Like they don't just leave it to portals the whole game. They have like the gel, and everything doesn't seem like you're getting it. It just seems like it's an actual scenario that could happen. Like you end up in this part of the factory, and there's this stuff. It really makes you think too about like physics and how to work all this stuff. And I like games like that. You know, can definitely like challenge you to think and everything. And the environments and like the characters like GLaDOS and Chell. All those people, they're just absolutely great, and I love having them. I love having them all together. And if they make a Portal 3, I'm okay if they introduce maybe like one new character, but I'm fine with the cast that they have right now. And I think that they can definitely do some more storytelling with that cast, and I hope they do. So, and with that said, that is my favorite video game of all time. So if you guys enjoyed this list, please, like I said in the beginning, leave your list down below, and let me know, why those are your favorite games. Maybe even explain yourself a little bit why you like those games. And I definitely want to do more rankings like this because you guys seem to enjoy them. And so with that said, I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I will see you guys later. Bye.